I'm almost done with this embroidery. We have the 70s theme going in the kitchen, and I really like the Mary Mushroom thing. And my grandma has a few of the actual, like, from the 70s Mary Mushroom stuff, but I want a little piece of it for my kitchen, even though I don't necessarily need any more things. But this would be a nice thing to hang on the wall because I don't have much on the walls. It looks like a prison in here because it's bare. So I'm going to clean this up. It's about 9 a.m. I'm going to get working. I'm actually going to take you through just today because I'm doing a lot of production today. I'll explain why in a moment. And now my cat hears me talking and he wants me to let him in. So let's go do that. Oh, scissors were in my lap. Great place for them. Coming in, Walt? Come on. We got Walter, the quality inspector. And any plastic or crinkly material will be chopped to ensure its integrity, like he's doing here. Walter, he's either going to poke holes in that or steal it. Let's see what he does. Oh, he's got his head in the bag. Oh, okay. Sir. What are you doing? Judge all the stray cats from over there. They can't see you way up there, but you can see them just fine. They hang out right there. Walter, I got work to do. Can we quit farting around? Walter and I have had a discussion. If he can stay there by the window and be good, he can stay in here. But I don't believe or have any evidence that he will uphold his end of the deal. It's been so long since I've made cotton rounds. I don't think I've cut any since we've lived here that I remember. I remember making some, but I don't know if they were already cut because I had a lot of cut pieces. But it's just so time consuming to cut all these little ones. But I found a trick that makes it go a little bit faster. For most of my cotton rounds, if they're not a solid color, I'll have a print on one side and then a coordinating solid on the back because they're 2-ply. And before I would cut out all the pieces and then match up the front and backs and then sew them. But I was like, wait a minute, why don't I just like match them up? Because sometimes if I cut them a little bit crooked, they wouldn't line up, and then I had to cut out the excess, and that took so long. So now when I cut a strip, I will open it up and basically open up both pieces wrong sides together and stick them together and then cut the squares that way so they match up. And that saved, like, cut probably almost in half the time it takes to make those. But these are going to be rainbow solids, so I don't need to do that because I just do both sides the same. I can cut 4 layers of these strips, which is about 8 layers of fabric, without it being wonky. If it's a bigger piece than 4 inches, then I can cut it like several layers, like upwards of 10, maybe 12. But since these are so small, they get pushed out of the way and it ends up being crooked. Now, hey, you're supposed to be sitting there being good. Now I'm touching something and you want to see what I'm doing. No, I don't want your hair on the stuff, buddy. Then my customers don't either. Right, you go take a nap and mom work, okay? He does not usually get free roam of this room. It would be fine if he would just sit in my chair or on the windowsill. There's nothing really over there that he can hurt, but he just won't. Except for when we came back from visiting my grandparents this past Monday. He was so tired from traveling that he just sat in the corner of the table there and just slept for hours. So I think I was just working on the computer, so it wasn't too interesting. I'm just marking these with a heat erasable pen, the friction pen. The ink runs out really fast on these, so I have to get refills. I need to get these out of the way because I have a lot of other stuff to do. I have my computer turned around. My monitor is on a swivel mount, so I turn it around this way when I'm cutting stuff so I know how much I need to cut. I don't have to write down and make a list and then go back around and check it. I can just look straight from my spreadsheet, and I need to get that out of the way and back where it was so I can start making stuff. Okay, I think that was almost the last thing I needed to cut for this batch of production today. I don't usually make piles like this, and I just messed that up. That's not blue. I would just sew them as they are, but I have this thing where I get too many big ideas and try to do too much at one time, and I think I need 5 or 6 packs of these for this big project, and then the rest I'm going to put on my website. Either my website or my market stock is low on the rainbow solid colors. And I ran out of this bright yellow, so I'm substituting a few of them with the less bright yellow, but I'm trying to use the bright first. So this big project I'm working on, I have been offered a spot at a local consignment shop that's just for handmade artisans. And that'd be a place for my local customers to go and get stuff instead of trying to figure out when I'm going to be at a market. And it's also a good way for people to discover my business because that's a pretty highly trafficked area. It's in a shopping center. And as soon as they approached me when I first met them, I pretty much that day applied for a spot. So that is what I'm working on now, is getting stuff made for that and for my markets and online to restock. So I went through my inventory and was looking at what I had in each place, like how much I have markets, how much I have it online. I just went ahead and added a few things that I wanted to restock for all 3 places now. But I'm on a little bit of a time crunch. I have until Tuesday, and today is Friday. I've just now almost finished cutting all the pieces that I need. I just need to cut the lining for the snack bags because they're particularly interested in those. And of course the non-paper towels, which I did warn them that things might be a little rocky soon because of the Joann's thing. I'm just really hoping that I have enough stock to last through the end of this year, or that I can get enough, or figure something out by the holiday markets, because that's, again, going to be a big thing that I'm going to push for. Like, even if sales are slow through the summer and fall and like into the 4th quarter, because I think people will spend more money for holidays than anything else. And usually my 1st quarter is really terrible, like it was this year, so I need to make sure that like in the 4th quarter I can make up for that and plan ahead. I have been in a consignment shop before and it was not great. Like, I didn't make that much from it. And it was asked of the vendors there to market a lot more than we were, but like I couldn't do that. I know it's in the contract, like I said, to post, and I did post it, but from my perspective, my business is not a local business. I don't just sell to people in the immediate area. Only a fraction of a percent of my customers were from the local area where I used to live, where that consignment shop was. So if I started posting about that specific consignment shop that people cannot shop online, they can only shop in person, then those posts are not relevant to my followers, and my posts are going to get less reach because that's how the algorithm works. If it's not relevant to your audience, they're not going to see any of your posts. So I couldn't just do that, like post every day. I mean, it's not what they said. They didn't say every day, but you get what I'm trying to say here. I can't, it's pointless for me to post on social media to an audience that's global about one specific store in one specific town. Like, if your clientele is mostly only local, great, but mine was not, and still is not. I have a separate email list for local clients, and I'll promote it there, but I can't post on TikTok and Instagram for that all day. And from my point of view, the point of the consignment fee is going to merchandising and marketing. I just supply the product and they are supposed to handle the rest. So, okay, so those are all organized into piles now, so I know I'd have enough pieces to make 15 packs of those. The problem I'm going to run into is going to be thread. I'm going to have to really prioritize what I use the thread for. That's probably the only thing that I can think of that would be affected by tariffs if they were to go into effect. However, it's not from China. It's made in Portugal, but although it's going to change, because it is changing, because they've got us by the collars right now with all that bullshit, so just chill. Because they have delayed it for 90 days, they'll delay it for 30 days, and then it's probably not going to happen. So just chill out. I'm begging you. Let's pause for a second. I'm just popping in because literally in the time between when I finished editing this and when I went back through to watch it over again to make sure that everything was good, they changed the damn tariffs again from 145% to 30%. So like I was saying, that you didn't hear me say because I haven't posted this yet, but chill out. I also need to make a lot of random cotton rounds. So looking at market sales last year, I sold the most of the random print cotton rounds. I sold 10 packs of those. The next most was the mouse cotton rounds, which I have a few of, and that's the very last bit of this mouse fabric. And then the next highest is the rainbows. I am really surprised. I only sold 4 packs of the tarot cotton rounds, but in comparison to online, I sold 11 packs of those in 2024 to last year. Yeah, 11 packs online. Usually the tarot ones, it's like a black and white print with a black on the back, and people like that for makeup because it doesn't show the stain. But these don't either. If you take off your makeup and immediately, before you let it dry, rinse it with water and then put just like a drop of your hand soap or rub it on your bar of soap and scrub it together, and it takes off most of the makeup. But these guys, these bees, I had this exact print and style in these cotton rounds years ago, but this print like just kind of disappeared. I couldn't order it again, and then all of a sudden I got a bunch more. I'm going to restock those because they sold pretty well. And I had both of these prints. I have a few left of the mouse print. Can you even see that? Can I zoom in editing? Maybe if I remember. Hello. I have a few of the mouse print left in cloth wipes, so those are bigger, like baby wipe size. And I had the bees in that also, but I haven't sold that many cloth wipes in a while. Let me check my numbers for the cloth, like for the printed cloth wipes. I'm really surprised. I sold 25 packs total last year, and I've already sold 7 this year, which I thought would be quite a different number. But those sold like hotcakes in 2020 because of that toilet paper fiasco thing, and people were buying all the toilet paper and then they didn't have anything to wipe their butts with, so they were buying baby wipes. And then people that needed baby wipes for the babies didn't have any. So I sold a crap ton of cloth wipes. So what I'm going to do is put these into stacks based on each pack. So I do a packs of 14. A 15 would be an even split of the fabric, but I keep one extra for the random assortments or in case I mess one up. Now that these are all together, I don't have to match them up. That would take so long. I'm so glad I don't have to do that. I don't know why I never thought of that before. Because I was like, what if before I cut the strips, I could take the whole piece of fabric and unfold it, but I was like, no, I don't have enough room for that. So anyways, I'm really glad that I figured that out. So 2, 4, 10. I also, when I do these, I like to make them right sides up, like all facing the same direction, so I don't have to think about it while I'm sewing them. Because I like to start in the bottom right corner. And the reason that I am separating these, you would think I would just take the whole stack and sew it. No, no, no. Because I get ahead of myself and I try to cut too many, and if I am on a time crunch, I am probably going to not be able to make all of them, and especially with the thread being sparse, I may only be able to make the ones that I actually need for the consignment shop and not all of them. It'd be nice to make all of them so I don't have to do it later, but I'm probably not going to have time for that if I'm being completely honest. I'll do 4 online and 6 4 online, 6 for the market. I can always move some if I need to. It's just such a hard decision to make because I don't know like if something's going to pop off or whatever, and then I have to go and dig through my market stock or try to worry about all that and then not having stuff for the market. I was watching a video earlier and of like an interview with another small business, and they were like, if you could wave a magic wand, what one thing would you like to be taken care of? And I'm like, how much I need to make. Because I can use my guesses, and I probably could set up an algorithm in my Airtable spreadsheet to tell me like based on that, but I don't have that much data to pull from, so I don't know how accurate that's going to be if I set up some kind of thing like, oh, you sold 10 last year, you should make 12 this year or 15 this year. I don't know. That's what took me so long to get to this point of cutting this batch, is figuring out how much to make. And I don't want to list these online without having them in stock because of this thread situation. Because if I need to order more, it could take a little while, especially if I get the purple, like, that's also an issue. Because I'm doing some things with an ivory color thread, and some things are purple, and I want them to be continuous. I accidentally shipped an Etsy order with something that had like the wrong color of thread versus what the picture was. They said that it didn't quite match in their review, but they didn't give me a negative review. They gave me 5 stars still. So thank you very much for that, because I completely did not notice that I had changed them and then picked the wrong one for the order. These bees, though, I am going to bring 6 packs of them to the consignment shop, and I should have 10 packs total here, but again, I don't know. And these, it doesn't matter which way they go because it's all whichever way. This past weekend we were visiting my grandma, or I was visiting my grandma, and then my husband went to visit his grandma because our schedules are so wonky, or his schedule at least, so we don't always get to go home very often. We don't always get to see all of our family when we go visit because we both have split, like, divorced parents, so if you're in that situation, you know how it is visiting for the holidays. It's a lot. And then we have older relatives that can't really travel, so we have to go see them. But I mentioned the last vlog that my grandma has cancer, and so did the grandma that I lost a couple years ago, about 2 years ago now, coming up. But I stayed with her for a few days with Walter, and he didn't get along with her cat. Or he gets along with her cat, but she doesn't get along with him because
she goes outside, and every interaction she's had with a male cat or like another cat in general has been pretty negative because she's very small and the other cats that she encounters are very big. So I do not blame her at all for being scared of Walter, because he is quite large. So these are all sorted. Now I have to make, what do you call that, assortment packs. When I have extras, or if I get just a tiny bit of a certain print and I only have enough to make this size of square, then I'll cut that up and make assortments out of them. Most of them come from the end pieces, so if I cut a bunch of flannel and then I use it for non-paper towels, for example, those are 12 inches long. And if I end up with only like less than 12 inches, then I'll cut that up into the cotton round size. And I end up with a lot of those actually, but the random print sells very well. More so than any other one. Except maybe the black. I wonder if the random print sells better than the black. Yeah, the random print does sell better. Total, since I've made the spreadsheet, I've sold 21 random prints and then 15 black. But 37, where'd 37 come from? I think that's Mouse. No, Taro. So, okay, so Taro is the best selling, at least that I have in stock right now. So I'll get out the ones I need for the random prints, and then I will probably time lapse that because it's going to take a hot minute. I think it's time for the old jacket to come off. It's that time of the year. On and off, on and off, on and off. So I have 18 packs of the random, what am I saying? Yeah, hello. I have 18 packs of the random assortments made up. Before I would do this, like just sew them all and then make packs out of them, but it doesn't really make sense now because I end up with a bunch extra of some. So I'm divvying them up into 14 packs and then I'm going to sew them, see if that works a little bit better. But I am at the point where I'm almost to where I can't make a pack without any repeats. I have a bunch more fabric that I could cut up. But some of these are so old. Like, I'm pretty sure these llamas and I think these black cats were prints that I had when I first started doing cloth wipes, which was my second product. So they've been around for a long time. And a lot of these I actually cut down from pieces that I cut out of cloth wipes, or cut for cloth wipes, which didn't sell quite as well. And I didn't have much of them and I couldn't restock it. So these have been just sitting here for a long time, and I moved with them twice now. So I'm going to do as many as I possibly can with these before I cut any more. This is some of that bee print that was older that I had originally. It's definitely improved. It's not as crispy on the printing. It's barely noticeable if you're not really looking for a difference. But I actually had someone mention a different dye lot. So they ordered 2 different packs of assortments. So they had an assortment cotton round and then an assortment cloth wipes. And it was a goat's print, which I don't have right here. But I noticed personally that every time I'd order it, it kind of looked slightly different. And so they ended up with a goat print in 2 different places and they were different. And they're like, hey, this is messed up. I was like, no, that's how it is. People do notice sometimes. You're like, oh, they're not going to notice. They might. Let's pick the smaller pieces out of here. Maybe those 2. Those 2 and this chicken should get me a few more. I always find these like tie-dye kind of prints in the remnant bin, the Joann's R.I.P. But I think I have some more somewhere else. Can I cut through this with my dull rotary cutter? We'll see. Where is it? Make sure this is tight because sometimes that can be the problem. Oh, 6 is a little much for old rotary cutter. Oh, so is 4 apparently. Jeez Louise. I used to cut all these by hand with a rotary cutter. Every single one. I don't know how to manage that. But I got through most of this stash here, so I'm going to pack these back up. Hopefully it only takes up 1 of these containers, because I had like 4. And where am I going to put these suckers while I cut everything else I need to cut? At least I have in progress everything I need for a consignment. So, not that I need it, but it's what I've chosen to make, and then I just didn't have the ones in stock that I think would sell there. So most everything else I could pull, just the cotton rounds are the biggest thing, and the snack bags, because I don't have many of those on hand either. Let's move them to the serger table, so get them out of the way. Ta-da! Next on the list is to clean this up as much as I need to, so I can cut the snack bag lining, and then we can start actually sewing. I think it's the last thing, hopefully. This tripod's not in the way. I'm going to show you how I quickly iron these. I can only iron this PUL on the fabric side, not the laminated side. This is okay. This is acceptable to me. Where it's got just a little crease, it's going to come out. But like this is not. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the iron is not too hot. It's on like the wool setting. So I'm going to set it down. Wait for a second there. It just takes a second. Then I want to skip that one. Put this down. And just keep the iron moving. See, like that one's totally flat after just a second. That one's fine, but let's iron anyways. And I'm orienting them with the fabric side up so they're all the same and I don't accidentally sew the wrong side of it. Okay, those are all good. This is how I got through like 100 masks a day back in the olden times. You just keep the iron down and then put the next one instead of stopping and lifting the iron, because that wears out your wrist doing this all the time with the iron. So if you can just pick it up like that, you're not making this motion. Yeah, that motion. This actually irons really fast. Which the iron might be too hot if that's the case, but I kept turning it down. You don't want to use steam on this either, just heat. And only on the fabric side, not the plastic side. Except this iron shuts off if you have it down for too long. So I have to keep it moving a little bit. Now the big ones are going to need more ironing, of course. I wish everything else I ironed took that little effort. They don't have to be perfect, but if they're so wrinkled, they're going to end up kind of wonky. I'll keep turning this down because it's just too hot, I think. So that kind of looked like it maybe was melting, but also it was maybe the... Well, sometimes the fabric is crinkled when they put the laminate on it. I'm not sure. I would hope not, because that would kind of mess it up. This PUL does have a little bit of a smell, which Zoodle does disclose in their listing for PUL. It's like just the laminate process kind of makes a chemically smell, but it goes away. But they apparently sell so much of it that it doesn't have a chance to go away while it's sitting on their shelf. This is real time. I'm just ironing these a little bit before I make the stuff, and I'm actually timing myself to see how long it took to cut and iron them, and it took 24 minutes to cut all these pieces. So let's see how long total. In the 35 minutes. I don't know if I counted or timed this last time I made snack bags. The last batch of snack bags that I made, I got them done in about 11 minutes, give or take, and my goal is to get that down to 5 minutes. So it would help if this material was not wrinkly, but they have to ship it to me, and they can't really do that if they don't fold it. So I could order it on a roll. If I sell a bunch of these, if you tell your friends that some hillbilly on YouTube with gauges makes reusable snack bags, and if I sell enough, I could order a roll. But I don't want to know how much a roll even weighs, because just 4 yards, a roll is 50 yards, I think. 4 yards is pretty chunky. My husband picked up the last package I got and he was like, what the heck is in here? Alright, last one. These pieces are a little bit crooked. I need to make a better cutting method, I guess. Oh, I know why they're crooked, because when I put them through the cutter, the electric rotary cutter, they get stuck because of the laminated part. It sticks to the machine itself, so I don't know how to mitigate that. If you cut it with the fabric side facing out, then it just slips over itself, so I don't know. But we'll figure that out when we get to it. So everything is officially cut. Alright, let's unplug the iron, because I forgot to do that yesterday. Electric cutter is unplugged. I removed some of the things that I have on my list to make like ASAP because it was just too much. I don't think I can get that all done. A lot of it was a bunch of straw pouches, but I didn't want to do all of those. Straw pouches were something that I didn't think I sold that many of. I just sell them like a few, but consistently. So I think it's still good to keep them in stock. I was just going to kind of phase them out, but I think I'll keep them around for now, especially the ones that I sell the most of. But I am pretty much out of most of the fabric that I used to make them, so what I've got cut is it. And it's from Spoonflower, which is pretty expensive, so I like that they're readily available to restock, but at the same time it's expensive. In comparison to other material, like it ain't no $3 or $4 a yard. I probably should make cotton rounds first because they're kind of taking up space, and I need the most of those. I don't have any, I don't think, to bring to consignment shop, and they did specifically mention those, so I don't want to just not have any. I am planning on paper towels. If I don't get a chance to make the scrunchies, they said like if I'm in a time crunch, just bring what I have. So I have enough scrunchies for a display at least, but there's a few that I wanted to add. Knowing my pea brain, I'm probably going to try to make those first, but I'm promising now on camera that I'm not going to make those first because they're not a priority. And it is 1 o'clock. Oh no, I've been talking and I forgot to pause the timer. I think it was 35 minutes that it took to cut these pieces. Oh my god, okay. I'll see you in a bit. Another thing, if I could wave a magic wand for, that would be filming. I've got the video ideas, I have the activities to film, I can edit. Just setting up the camera and getting things well lit and whatnot, not my forte. But it's just like, there's so many skills you need as a business owner that's doing it by yourself. I turned the camera on to work through what I'm going to prioritize. So I made a list of the things I need to make and how many of each, but that's already out the window. I have a whiteboard. Where is that? I do miss having a space big enough to where I can walk around without having to step over or around things. The main problem in here, tripod. So for cotton rounds, the first one on my list, I have 80 plus packs I need to make. That's not gonna happen. I went through before lunch and removed the things that I don't need to make, except for the cotton rounds, which I forgot about. I also took off the black cotton rounds. I only have enough to make 4 more packs. Those sell really well. I don't want to not have stock for myself, and I'm completely out of black flannel. I went through my scraps, like the end pieces, and cut all those. I have none left. So that leaves me with 4 different styles of the cotton rounds, so I want to add another one. Except for the taro, I have a few, and I have a bunch of taro flannel, but I don't have the black, again, to put on the back of it. But I don't know if they're going to want that this early in the year. Maybe they want those toward Halloween. And I need to restock, like, really badly, though. So I'm only going to do the ones I need for the consignment for cotton rounds because that's so many. Something really simple but dumb that I just thought of today after selling these for years. I have these little pouches for sporks. For these bamboo sporks. Where did I put those? So there's pouches for these little bitty bamboo sporks, and I have sold them for a while. I am still on the original, I think maybe the second batch of these sporks that I ordered from Bamboo brand. Here's one that's kind of like a pouch that's kind of finished that I need to fix a little bit. There's a thread that's kind of messed up on it. But I don't sell those as much as I thought, and then I don't know like exactly which ones are going to sell. I have an idea of ones that do better than others, but then there's ones that don't sell and then all of a sudden they do. So I was like, duh, why don't I just keep the pouches and the sporks separate, like in my physical inventory, and then once one sells, I just put a spork in it instead of having them all full of sporks. Sometimes it's the little things. And then once I get low on sporks, I can order more. It's probably not going to happen though, because I have a lot. And straws, so I only need 6 for consignment and 20 otherwise. That's quite a few. I see when the last time was that I actually made those. Look at my production schedule. I haven't made any of those since October 2023. And I made a bunch. But then the snack bags, I decided against doing a restock for online, and I'm only doing 46 for that shop. So this is why I don't like making little piddly stuff and just rather do a big batch. Because if you set up to make one or two things, that takes a lot of time. But if you set up and make a bunch of stuff, once you divide that out, it's less time per thing. So I need to make cotton rounds first. I'm not making the piddly stuff first, okay? Because I have an itch to do the stupid stuff first, and then I get sidetracked, and then I have to panic and finish the big stuff. Okay, this is the scrunchie box, basket, whatever. This is the spork and straw pouch box, and the snack bags are over here. One day I'll have this organized and not all over the table, but today is not that day. And I usually, unfortunately, sew cotton rounds right here, even though it's not very ergonomic, but I don't have anywhere else to do it. And for some of these, I might do like one pack extra just in case I mess up. So I need at least 6 random cotton rounds. And these have some that are already finished, so it's only about maybe half a stack, really. Now for the unglamorous part, I just dug this thing out of the shelf under this table, and it is dusty despite being under the table. At least I cleaned it out last time. So our dilemma is thread quantity. Some of these I've started with the purple thread, and like the B ones I have not. Okay, I've got way more, no, I don't say way more, probably about even amounts of the ivory and the purple threads. So I'm going to start with the purple, get as far as I can. I showed this in an Instagram, maybe in a TikTok video also, of harvesting thread from non-paper towels that I messed up, because it uses a lot of thread to go around that with the serger seam, and what I'm doing with that is taking those really long pieces and using them for the needle thread in my serger, because it doesn't take much. Like, the machine will use the least amount of the first needle thread. So I can probably get like 2 cotton rounds worth out of each piece that I've harvested. I just have to watch and make sure that the knot doesn't go through, or if I did knot it at all. If I really wanted to get down to the wire, I could weigh the thread, because I did measure how much it took to make each kind of product, so I could maybe figure out how many I can make with what I've got, but I don't have time for that. I don't need any big ideas. If you sew, don't be scared of a serger. It's actually not that hard to thread, especially after you get used to it. And on home machines also, like domestic machines, not industrial ones, because I have an industrial, and that thing requires an engineering degree just about to figure out how the heck to thread it. It does help if you have tweezers, but I can get this one without them. I've used this machine for years, made thousands and thousands and thousands of non-paper towels and cotton rounds and stuff with it. You might be asking yourself or me in the comments, why don't you just use the industrial serger? Well, I would, but it is incredibly difficult to do small things like the cotton rounds with the industrial one. You can turn the speed down, so it's not really a problem with that, but the presser foot is so large and it pushes down so hard, you can only loosen it so much. It's just hard to turn it, and kind of frightening because it is more powerful than this one. Like, really, if the knife of this one hit my finger, it would hurt. But it would probably stop. I don't think the industrial one would stop if it hit my finger. Probably not. So for now I'm going to use this one. I've seen people do cotton rounds with industrials, but I just don't know how to do it. It's more difficult to turn the corners. If you know of a way around that, like, is there some kind of, can I get another presser foot that's not as large? As much as I'd love to, I'm not going to record this segment, but I'll be back if I have anything interesting to share. Because I need to turn on my air purifier because it's going to be dusty in here. Alright, it is Sunday now. I started this on Friday, and I finished all these cotton rounds. I just needed to package them. Before I could do that, I needed to print the tags, which I had to design, so that took me 4 hours yesterday. My original cotton round tags were so small, they were like 1 inch by 1.5 inches, I think. just so it doesn't cover up so much of the product, because this is only 4x4. And I needed it to be able to fit their price tag, which is about 1x1. I made these about 0.9 by 0.9 inches. And they cannot keep business cards stocked for everyone because there's so many vendors. It's so much to keep up with. So for all the products, I had to put like a business card kind of thing, and I put my QR code on there. So I made them double fold like this. I thought about just adding a back page to my existing tags, but I think this is a bit more cohesive and less likely to get lost or torn than just 2 individual ones. And I also added handmade in Germantown because I noticed that a lot of the other vendors had a similar thing on their tags, and people want to know where it's from because it's a local shop. There's so much going on. I'm switching tags and getting rid of the purple thread, which I'm kind of sad about, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I will update you when I get all this stuff packaged up and take it over to the consignment shop. If I get a chance, I'll go in and show the display when they get it all set up, which is not gonna be until the 1st. Good luck on there. Good luck on there. Wow, yeah. Good luck out there. I'll see you in the next one.